culture is more than just entertainment. It's a lens into society, relationships, and human behavior. I'm Grace, and here on The Grace Report, we dive into stories beyond the headlines. Whether it's reality TV drama, celebrity scandals, or royal family intrigue, I'm here to break it all down. What it means, why it matters, and how it reflects the world we live in. Join the conversation, share your take, and let's make sense of the culture shaping our lives one story at a time. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. How is your week going so far? We are already at the hump. You know, I don't remember what brand it was that did the camel happy hump day going through the office and everything saying that, but that was one of the most effective pieces of marketing I have ever seen because I have never forgotten that. Now I'm always thinking of that every single Wednesday. It's so nice to see my usual crew here bright and early, Ali, Theo, Malene, and it's nice to see you, Desiree, for the first time as well. Fun fact, Desiree is one of my mom's favorite names for a girl. If she had another daughter, she would have named her Desiree. Desiree says, I recently revisited. Oh, so this is in regards to Twitch. Desiree was always suspicious about Twitch's death. I knew immediately foul play was involved. I don't care what anyone says, just like I knew Cassie was getting beaten by Diddy after the way he bashed Aubrey. Ooh, Lord. And we do have an awful, awful lot to discuss when it comes to the Twitch situation. I watched his widow, and this is another thing that I find to be very odd. You guys let me know if you find it to be odd as well. Sorry to skip past the chit chat, but Desiree's comment was just so, captivating to me. But when I watched Allison Holker do her People magazine interview, and she kept on referring to Twitch as her ex-husband, not her late husband, I found that to be very weird and to be very cold and to not be something that is typical of widows or widowers. But I maybe I'm off there. Can you guys let me know if that is something that is normal? Did it stick out to you at all? Or yeah, because that definitely caught my eye a little bit. And I just sat there watching that entire interview with my jaw kind of hanging open, what is going on? Is she really saying these things? And she's just so casual. When you see the photo shoot of her here, let me go ahead and pull up her cover photo. By the way, hi to everybody rolling in here. You guys are always so nice and on time. And you particularly, Ali, you are always the first comment up there, just before we get rolling. And I just find it to be so adorable. I love our routine, everybody. So here's the picture. And you see Allison in this all white outfit. Kind of like an angel, right? The angel of Twitch or something like that. And so she's talking about all of these very, very shocking things, super casually, as if it was kind of normal. And I just felt so uncomfortable by it. But I will say that I at first when I was watching it, I was like, okay, listen, she's going through a lot. And again, we're gonna go over a lot. We're gonna cover at least 20-30 minutes of Twitch, y'all. So this is just a little preliminary discussion there. But you guys, I don't even know what to say. First of all, yeah, the ex-husband versus my late husband thing. And then when I watched it, I was confused about why she's coming out with this. And then, she talked about having a book. I said, okay, well, listen, she has a right to earn a living, to tell her story as his surviving wife. And she's going through stages of grief. And this is a grief that I will hopefully never, ever, ever understand in my life. So for that, I say, okay, maybe she's got some anger towards him. And I know that it's difficult, and everybody wants everyone to be perfect and to not feel anger over their loved one choosing to pass away in this sense. But, when you've got children together and the person leaves and there's no will, and so you're fighting with the government to have your share of the house that you guys bought together and the assets that you guys amassed together. Yeah, I think that you are well within your right to feel a certain level of resentment and of anger. So I could never fault her or fault anybody else in that position for feeling that way. But there's just so much weirdness here. And everybody has been calling her out. Allie, that's a question that some of Twitch's loved ones have put out there now. They're saying, listen, now we're wondering, what's really going on with you? And here's the thing, Twitch's loved ones have been talking about her for years, y'all. I have some screenshots that I have to go back and find somewhere, but his little brother has been talking about Allison for years. His mother has been talking about Allison for years and how she has allegedly been keeping the kids from them and just became really cold and shut them completely off after Twitch's passing. And it's just, oof. I don't even know what to say. By the way, Bug Lover, first of all, your hat is glorious. You know what it reminds me of? Candace on the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. Thank you so much for watching me over all these years. I can't believe that I've even been on YouTube for this long, y'all. Okay, guys, let's run down because, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. What I'm going to do is bookmark you guys' comments for when we get back to the Twitch and Allison of it all. Okay, you guys, I'm seeing a lot of really interesting things. And I need you guys to remind me as well, please, because y'all know I'm a little bit of a bird brain, or what is it? Goldfish brain. I forget really easily, but there are a couple of things that I want to tell you. Number one is something about Allison changing her last name on Instagram within 48 hours of finding out that Twitch passed away. She was Allison Boss or Allison Holker Boss on Instagram. And then about 24 to 48 hours after she finds out that her husband, took his own life, she was back on Instagram to change her last name, right? And then soon after that, she almost immediately took off her ring. Again, I think that this might have been a stage of anger, right? When she was angry at him for leaving her with these children and leaving their financial situation up in the air as well. So if that was the case, I would have loved for her to be honest about it, because I think that that's fine to feel that way and to lash out in that way as well, but I digress. So as usual, you guys, by the way, for those of you who are watching the morning report for the first time, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. So every single weekday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we go over the day's hottest topics. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about Austin Butler and Kaia Gerber breaking up. We're going to talk about Diddy being jealous of Luigi Mangione over there in the prison. Justin Baldoni has a leaked audio. I say quote unquote leaked because we all know it's his team that put this out there. Kim Kardashian is acting as JLo's matchmaker, trying to get her hitched for the millionth time. And then we're going to round it all up with the Twitch boss and his wife, Allison Holker situation, okay? Because that one is huge. We're going to be discussing that for a very long time. I really want to have all of you guys' thoughts on it. So I definitely want to take as much time as possible. So let's start off with this couple, Austin Butler, Kaia Gerber. They were together for about 3 years. Austin and Kaia got together very quickly after Austin and Vanessa Hudgens broke up. Vanessa Hudgens very quickly moved on as well. She got with an MLB player who she's now married to with a kid and everything like that. This couple, there were rumors that they were getting engaged last year, but apparently that was not the case, right? Because she and her family rang in the new year in Los Cabos, Mexico. And Austin was notably absent from the trip because it turns out that their relationship is over. There wasn't any kind of like mudslinging, wrongdoing, or anything like that. According to sources close to the couple who spoke to TMZ, the end of the relationship simply came because the two just kind of outgrew each other. The relationship simply ran its course and got a little bit stale, which I've got to say, I'm not too surprised about it, because I think that Kaia is a little bit young, for Austin and for such a serious relationship. I think that Austin at this point, especially with his Oscars aspirations, is probably looking for a more mature, solidified, stable relationship. And Kaia, I think at her age, she still wants to go out, have a lot of fun, and maybe continue to date around, in which case, you know what? Good for the both of them. I don't think there's anything wrong with what either of them could potentially want out of a relationship. And then we've got P. Diddy as well, y'all. P. Diddy. I don't even know what to say about him, because it is always something with this man. The last time I talked about him, it was right after the holiday break. And we spoke about how he had a meltdown in his prison cell, and he was begging and pleading for the guards to take him to the prison nurse. He was like, he really thought that with all of his attempts to get out on bail, that he would succeed at a certain point. But, unfortunately for him, fortunately for the general public, that never actually wound up happening. Every single one of P. Diddy's requests for bail were denied, and rightfully so. When we went over the lawsuits that people had filed against him, we found out that he was really trying to intimidate people. He would harass them with insane amounts of phone calls, not only from his own phone, but from his entourage's phone as well. Apparently, he was using his children's phone, anything he could use to get his hands on these people and to try to get them to recant their lawsuits, recant their allegations, and everything like that. And so, I'm really happy that the judge is not falling for his aura of celebrity or anything like that, or maybe not backing down from the threat. I gotta tell you guys, and maybe I'm exaggerating here, but I like to watch these. And when I was in Sicily, in Italy, I think it was last year I did this Sicily trip, I did something called a mafia tour. And so basically, and the exact city was Palermo, right? And so I did a mafia tour, and we found out a lot about how the mafia ran that region for quite a while now. They still exist, but not in the same capacity that they did back in the day. And so it was really, really difficult for judges, lawyers to be able to put them away, because they did things that Diddy is accused of doing, right? Like intense intimidation. We saw in Cassie's lawsuit that apparently Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car simply because he was jealous that Kid Cudi and Cassie started dating each other, right? So imagine what he would do to other people who are trying to put him behind bars. Imagine the types of henchmen that he's got like lying around places, right? So like to be a judge in such a high profile case, and probably to have some level of fear for your own life in doing all of this, like I really commend this judge and any other judge who really truly puts their life at risk to fight against these types of people. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Do you guys think that Diddy could be dangerous to the judge? Like, could his people kind of get the judge, whack the judge, if you know what I mean? Or is that simply more of a mafia sort of thing? I don't know, but I personally would be super duper anxious about that if I were a judge presiding over his case. So let's talk about the jealousy outside of the crisis that he had about not being able to get out for the holidays on bail. We're finding out that he is jealous of Luigi Mangione. So Luigi is Killer Bay for a lot of people, right? He's a very, very handsome young man who went and shot the CEO of a major health insurance company that is very famous for denying a lot of very, serious and very, reasonable requests for insurance in the medical world. He has very serious problems with his back thanks to a surfing accident that he had. And so now he's living with chronic pain 24/7. And I guess in his own situation, he had his own claims denied, although it has been reported that he was not a part of this insurance company. He was not a client of them, but nonetheless, I guess this is the biggest one in the USA, and that's why he targeted this particular CEO. I believe it was also reported that this particular CEO used to brag about how they would try to deny as many claims as possible. And so he chose this person to make an example out of them, right? And so a lot of people in the US and around the world are kind of heralding this young man because they feel as though he is speaking out for what the common everyday person feels, which is that we are being exploited in this capitalistic system and society where we're paying. And I say we as if this applies to me, but it doesn't. Listen, my healthcare was great in Canada. My healthcare is great in France. This doesn't apply to me, but I got to say we anyway, where we feel like we're being taken advantage of by a system. You pay all this money for insurance just for these companies to brag about denying you. And when they deny your health insurance, what do? It's almost as though if not, it's exactly as though perhaps they are denying your life, your right to live. And that's why so many people support this guy. And not only that, again, I think pretty privilege plays plays into this as well, because he is a very, very attractive man as well. And people do like that. People love a hot killer. What can we say, right? Theo says, I wouldn't rule anything out. Diddy seems desperate to get out, whatever means necessary. Exactly. At this point, I think he knows that he is cornered. He's got nothing to lose. And so someone like that with the resources of Diddy, he could do a lot of very, very serious damage at the end of the day, right? And listen, yup, he sure is. Very, very, very handsome guy. So Luigi is famously loved by the prisoners. We saw videos of interviews being held outside of the prison where the prisoners are screaming to the reporters by the windows, free Luigi, free Luigi. Did you guys see that video where the reporter was like, are they watching this live? They got us over there in the prison. Flicker the lights if you're watching this. And so they started flickering the lights. They're like, okay, make this noise. And so they make these noises because they truly support Luigi on the inside. And then not only that, in his last appearance in court, Luigi had some kind of like a tapered cut. And it is being reported that that tapered cut is a sign from the inmates that he is protected. Meanwhile, when you hear about Diddy popping up in court, apparently he looks rode hard and hung up wet, worse for wear. He apparently is withering away. He is graying at a rapid pace. And so I guess he's back there thinking, what the hell's going on? I'm the VIP. I had bad boy music, like y'all, you guys must have bumped to my music at least a little bit, and I'm not getting any love. But this kid is. Nobody even knows who he is, right? And so apparently he is feeling very jealous about the fan club that Luigi is getting. And a lot of people are pouring in money to help fund Luigi's defense as well, you guys. And they're putting money on his books. People are putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to this guy. And Diddy apparently is pissed. Diddy claims that he is innocent of all charges. And he says that it's shocking and jarring that despite his quote unquote innocence, he continues getting so much hate while Luigi gets so much love after literally offing someone on camera. And so the source says that Diddy's ego is out of control about all of this. And apparently the two of them are staying even on the same floor. So now when it comes to why the prisoners are having, a field day with this kid and why they love him so much, they're saying that they've got their own stories of themselves dealing with insurance on the outside, health insurance, their loved ones, stuff like that, denials and whatnot. This is a story that transcends race, transcends class, transcends freedom, apparently, too, you guys. A lot of people really can identify with what it is that Luigi is quote unquote fighting for at the end of the day here. Also, not to forget, Diddy and Luigi do also actually share a legal team. And if you're wondering, how is it that Luigi is able to afford this legal team? Listen, major case. I think they're probably excited to have their names attached to this, especially if they're able to beat this. He does come from a rich family. And on top of that, the public is more than willing to help pay for his defense. Okay, you guys. And so there is a lot going on with that guy. Continue to watch this space. There's a lot more to come. Okay. And when it comes to P. Diddy, I think he is due back in court sometime this month. And then the actual trial is going to start in May as well. So there's a lot. You know what? When it comes to Diddy, good question. Here's the thing. He had 3 decades of support, right? To hide everything. These people all knew what it was that he was doing. It was an open secret. So I do think that he still already had some privilege, even though he's not much to look at, unless, that's your type. I don't know. He had some kind of privilege, whether it's status or what have you, and I'm just so happy that he is now behind bars, finally paying for what it is that he did. And Copay Bay, oh my God, now that is something new. I had no idea y'all were calling him Copay Bay. You guys are a mess, and I absolutely love it. Okay, you guys. So let's get into the next story. I'm sorry, real quick before we get into the Twitch thing, okay? We got to get back to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. And before I even get into this story, I have to ask you guys, I got to do a little bit of a temperature check. Where are you at right now when it comes to Lively v. Baldoni? Baldoni promised us as soon as the courts open, trust, you will be dealt with. That's what he said. He was going to file his lawsuit. We're January 8th, still nothing. And the courtrooms are open. He managed to file his lawsuit against the New York Times, which I think, and a lot of legal experts have been saying, is more of a PR play on his part in order to get his side of things out there. But he has not yet sued Blake Lively directly as promised. And I did a lot of digging this morning to try and see if I might have missed something, if there's a little bit of a hint of that coming down the pipeline, but there is still nothing. And I do find that to be very, very odd. And his lawyer did some sort of exclusive interview with Megyn Kelly on her podcast and provided a soundbite of Justin Baldoni talking to his editing team about how Blake Lively relegated him to the basement for the premiere of that movie of theirs. It Ends With Us, that insufferable movie. As Jeannie says, they're both insufferable. It's a movie that I don't even think I want to watch anymore. The weekend is quickly approaching, and I don't think I want to watch this anymore after all of the drama surrounding this. So I honestly, you guys, at this point, I really just want them both to go away. I do. You know, I tried so hard with the two of them and everything like that, but it just feels like they truly at this point are just taking the piss. So hang on, let me try and pull it up because I could have sworn I had it here a second ago in my phone. What is her name again? Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly. So what's the deal with Megyn Kelly these days, actually? Because last I checked, she was on Fox News, but apparently she too is doing some sort of like internet podcasting type of thing. It kind of feels as though the mainstream has kicked off all of like their figureheads. And so I don't know what the story is behind her being kind of kicked off here, but I digress. So hang on, Justin Baldoni, basement. Hang on. Where are you? Oh my goodness. You know what, you guys, take a listen to some words from our sponsors while I go ahead and search for this video clip. So sorry about that. I do not know what happened with it. I had it bookmarked, but apparently the bookmark slipped away. Give it one quick second, you guys. The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Ruthia. Ruthia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product, the Resilience Cream, delivers clinically proven age prevention benefits such as average 14% wrinkle reduction after 4 weeks of use. Click the link below and receive 30% off your first purchase today. Okay, I finally found it. Here you go, you guys. An audio clip of Justin Baldoni complaining about being relegated to the basement by Blake Lively.
Justin Baldoni speaking to what he called his dream team, lamenting the fact that he was put in the basement on the premiere of his own movie, he says, per Blake's demands.
Could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life, career-wise. I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour. I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. We start laughing because of the ridiculousness of this whole thing. And I realized, like, on a night that was supposed to be so materialistically joyful, I was in the basement with the people that I love the most, and we were all joyful and laughing. Because none of that shit matters. We're in this business because we're artists. And we believe in what we do. And I believe that will follow each of us, and that truth will prevail, and that light and love will win.
We have here
So there you guys go. The audio tape was leaked. They try to act like it was leaked. Megyn Kelly or got her hands on it, but it's very obvious that his lawyers gave it to her because she released all this stuff on the same day that she had an exclusive interview with Justin Baldoni's lawyer. I really feel like he's playing this victim card or victim angle really, really hard, but I'm still standing by my opinion, which is that I cannot see this personally being something that happened out of the blue. I think that something led to it. And, I've been saying this since the beginning of the debacle that, in my own experience dealing with, harassment in the workplace, the restraints put in place against him were similar to the restraints put against my coworker who was, actually harassing me at work as well. So to me, that's what it all comes down to. I do believe that was at play here. But I don't know. A lot of people are still very, very mixed on this. There's still a lot of text messages that he did release in his New York Times lawsuit that do point to Blake having her own issues as well. For example, not really being interested in meeting with the intimacy coordinator, describing things as sexy on her own, even though she had issue with him doing that, et cetera, et cetera. Super complicated case, which I will continue to keep my eye on for you guys here on the Morning Report. So stay tuned, okay? If you haven't already, do make sure to subscribe to my channel. Theo says, I still can't believe NBC jumped the gun giving Megyn Kelly her own talk show for an exorbitant amount of money after she had her tiff with Trump. It blew up in their face and she showed herself. So is that what happened with her? Because I was like, I don't know what she'd be fired for at this point. She's done an awful lot already that she could have been fired for, but she wasn't. Okay. Well, listen, I do remember she got a lot of money, an awful lot of money, but then she disappeared from the public sphere. This is not like Don Lemon, for example. He gets fired from CNN. Then he has this little stint on Twitter or X, and then he pisses off Musk, gets kicked off there. But at least he had a little bit of a buzz while he was there. And I do hear about his interviews with people. I know he's on a different platform now. But I did hear about a recent interview that he did with people. But Megyn Kelly, this is the first time I've heard of her since she left Fox. Hey, Hamlet's Princess, nice to see you. Nice to see you again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. The message without Baldoni was without dates. Good point. Honestly, this entire thing is a mess. Now, speaking of mess, let's get into the major story of the day, you guys, okay? I think we're all here to talk about the tWitch saga. So tWitch was a dancer who rose to fame on So You Think You Can Dance. He was a fantastic, fantastic dancer. Real quick, did any of you guys watch So You Think You Can Dance? I remember loving this show. I didn't watch every season, but I actually did happen to watch Twitch's season, and I thought he was a fantastic dancer, and I really loved it. I've never taken a dance class outside of Zumba at the gym, and maybe I did an Afro. I think I did an Afrobeats or some kind of Caribbean dance thing once, but that's about it. But I truly, truly loved it. And I enjoyed all the passion that all of these artists had. Allison competed on that same season. They met, they fell in love, they got married, and they had 2 kids. You know, the girl next to him with the curly, curly hair that you would think is mixed, she's actually a fully white girl. She is Allison's daughter. And she started perming her hair, I guess, to kind of blend in with the other kids who have the naturally kinky curly hair based off of being half Black. And so I really, truly thought the girl was biracial for a very long time. I believe she also tans as well, which, is a story for another day. But I digress. So these 2 had a very, very, what seemed to be happy life. They were always posting videos, dancing and smiling together on the internet. The kids were involved. It was a whole family affair. Twitch, he had a really incredible job as kind of like a DJ or a hype man for Ellen on the Ellen DeGeneres show, which spanned over 8 years. He seemed to be very, very well loved by his family, his dancing colleagues, everybody. No one has ever had a bad word to say about this guy. Even the amount of love and passion that people are coming out with, for Twitch in light of what is happening here with his widow, Allison, is absolutely incredible. And it is true. It's just so crazy to see what happened with all of the dancers from So You Think You Can Dance. Another one I like to watch was America's Best Dance Crew, you know, especially what is that? The Jabberwockies, to see their success and everything like that. So people have been saying that Allison has been behaving in very strange ways ever since Twitch's passing. People are saying that her stories about, you know, him have not been adding up. But listen, for now, I'm going to present you with some information that came out. And then I want you guys to let me know what you think about all of it in the chat, okay? If you're watching live, and if you're watching the playback as part of my playback posse, my VOD squad, let me know in the comment section, okay? So in her People magazine exclusive, Allison said that Twitch ended his life weeks after finding out that the Ellen DeGeneres show was not going to be picked up and that his other project was not going to be picked up as well. She describes coming to his closet and finding a, quote, cornucopia of drugs, including mushrooms, pills, and other substances that she supposedly had to look up on her phone. So at this point, she's claiming that Twitch was a full-blown addict and that it was out of control, but she just had no idea about it. And so again, when I watched this video, when it dropped yesterday on the People magazine website, and I found it to be so strange. First of all, again, she's talking about her ex-husband. My ex-husband had this. I'm like, girl, that is not your ex-husband. That is your late husband. Like, what is this? And second of all, if he had a problem and he chose to hide it, not only from you, but from the whole world, what is the point? What is the reasoning behind coming out here and sharing all of this information, right, with the world? If Twitch wanted this out there, he would have put it out there himself, okay? And unfortunately, she did not stop there. She continued to go on and say that she had found Twitch's diaries, okay? And she said that Twitch had been dealing with a lot of things that she had no idea that he was dealing with. According to Allison, Twitch was just trying so hard to be the backbone of the family, the superhero for everybody, for herself, for their kids, everybody. And so he kept everything kind of bundled up inside. And to me personally, as like someone who didn't know Twitch personally, I feel as though that is enough information for me, right? I don't need anything more. But then she decided, no, Grace and everybody else, y'all need to know more. So basically she said, and I quote, he was wrestling with a lot inside himself, and he was trying to self-medicate and cope with all of those feelings. And because he didn't want to put it on anyone because he loved everyone so much. And then she also says that he alluded to being sexually abused by a male figure during his childhood in several of his diary entries. He didn't want other people to take his pain. And so again, it's kind of like, well, these are secrets that he held so near, so dear, because he didn't feel like this was something that he wanted to share with you as his wife and his partner of over a decade. He didn't want to share with his children. So who or what gives you the right, just because you were married to him, to make that decision for him, right? And again, I think that Allison is well within her right to grieve and to share her own story, right? I think anybody would have that right. But when you cross over from telling your own story to telling the story of somebody else's and saying, here, this person's dead, come take their diary entry. Let's read about all of their deepest and darkest secrets and their deepest and darkest traumas. And she's saying as well that the reason that she's putting all of this out here is because she wants to help other people so that they don't have to like die with shame or like hidden secrets or anything like that. But again, here's the question. If you are looking to help other people, why are you charging for this information in the form of a book? Why are you only sharing this through a pre-order, right? Why are you sharing this this information in the form of a People magazine interview, right? Which are typically paid for, you're typically compensated for. Are you really looking to help other people, or are you looking to cash in, right? It feels like that's the case. And, thank you so much for that, Malene. That's another thing that we have to talk about as well. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I feel like I would have loved for her to just say that she's angry, right? Or that she feels this way or she feels that way. And this is her way to just share everything and that she's trying to put the pieces together. But when you try to just to put out this stuff for profit and then to say that you're doing this for the benefit of other people, it's like Theo says, it doesn't make you look good at all. And you guys, she got the wrath of everybody in Twitch's life yesterday. If you guys were on Instagram, if you guys were on Twitter, then you must have seen some of the stuff that was out there, you guys. It was bad. His brother, his cousins, their colleagues, her old manager, everyone is speaking out against her. They are calling her a narcissist and they're denying her claims that Twitch was some kind of addict. And, you know, a lot of people were also talking about, and hi, Ramster, nice to see you here. A lot of people were talking about how strange it was that when this man left the home, it took her, I think, you know, it took her a long time to even reach out to the police. She couldn't contact him or anything like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, was it 24 hours before she reached out to the police or something like that, or 12 hours? She said, you know what, this is how I'm going to explain it. I figured he went off to rehab, which is strange because here you are saying you didn't know he had an addiction, right? So if you didn't know your husband had an addiction, why is it that when he goes missing, instead of looking for him and calling the police, you know, to report the situation, you say you thought he went to rehab and you started calling around rehabs? I find that to be odd, you guys. Do you guys find that to be strange? There's just like a lot of very, very, very strange things when it comes to this woman. Okay. So let's get into what some of the comments people were saying about her. Okay, you guys, these are people who are near and dear to Twitch. So first of all, this is one of Twitch's cousins. She went, oh, this is not one of Twitch's cousins. Hang on, you guys. This is one of Twitch's cousins. She took to her Instagram account to talk about how Allison does not let Twitch's family see the kids. She says Twitch was not an addict. He smoked weed and was actively trying to quit. He was not some junkie. And then she also continued to say, I don't give an F about an NDA. This crazy woman made me and his actual family sign an NDA just to even attend the funeral. She's been trying to tarnish his legacy and refuses to let the boss family see the children, only to exploit and lie on my cousin. Hell no. So guys, I have to ask you, how do you feel about Allison allegedly making the family sign an NDA in order to come to the funeral? And that includes his own mother. To me, it's just unfathomable. The idea that someone who knew this man for like 12, 13 years, you know, as his girlfriend, as his wife, you know, even as the mama to his kids, okay? You can go to his actual mom, who knew him before he was even born, who carried him his entire life, who he was on amazing terms with, who he saw all the time, and tell her, you need to sign an NDA if you want to come to your son's funeral. I think that it takes a very, very, very special kind of person to even have the heart, the guts, the whatever, to think that that is appropriate in any way, shape, or form. The idea of doing that to somebody who is grieving their child, it's insane. How does that even cross her mind, right? And so now when people are asking, why did she do this? Why did she do this? Now it makes sense, right? He passed away 2 years ago. She's busy funeral planning and NDA planning at the same time because she does not. And here's the thing, Twitch's family, all they do is uplift him. They would have never put any kind of information like this out there. That's why they're so pissed off right now, right? Never, ever, ever, ever. But she wanted to make sure, just in case, because she knew that she was capable of putting this information out there. And she didn't want this information out there for free. This is not about helping people. Because if Allison, like she says, is just trying to help people, why is it that she did not allow Twitch's family to help people by speaking out about this, right? It's just not adding up. Okay. Now, we already saw some of the text from one of Twitch's cousins, but there are several other family members who have been speaking out as well, you guys. So we're going to get to all of it. I can't. Okay. So this one, I believe, was by his brother, who posted the photo of her People magazine cover with lies written over it. And so this was a reel, by the way. So it was a video. So it would go alternate between saying lies and liar, right? And then in the caption, he went off on her. He said, if you love Twitch, screenshot this and post it on your page, your story, everywhere. This ends today. Dear Allison, you have lied for the last time on my brother. He was absolutely no addict. You will say and do anything for $1. An addict, you were the one that was messing with the coke, Molly, and X. I have all the proof. Play with somebody safe. You guys, whew, imagine that. You're the one who was messing with the coke, Molly, and X. Wow. Okay. Country boy right here. I don't give an F. Every person who knew him knows you're lying and have been doing dirty crap for a long time. Should I post our last conversation? Try me. You have no idea what I have to post. Here's a few questions I have for you, though. Why wouldn't or didn't you make his mom? Why did you make his mom sign an NDA to see her son's body? Why did his closest friends and family have to sign an NDA to attend his funeral? Why did you lie at the funeral and how every day was magical? It wasn't. He told me everything. You had to try and demonize Nelson, and now I see why. You demonize anyone in his life that found out the truth about you. You will say his friends aren't his friends. You will discredit anyone that knows the truth. You are a toxic woman, and I truly believe he would still be alive had he not been married to you. You guys, I still believe he would be alive had he not been married to you. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I read it already yesterday as I was getting the screenshot, but this just made me gasp again. Like his younger brother saying that. Like, that is deep, you guys. That truly, truly, truly is deep. Okay. But let's continue with the rest of what it is that Twitch's younger brother had to say. Once again, this is Twitch's younger brother talking about his widow, or as she likes to be referred to, his ex-wife. He told me everything. Okay. My only regret is telling him to work on it with you for the sake of the kids when he talked to me about leaving you. I just didn't know the full truth. Just like everyone that supports you, we were both in the same situation, married to toxic narcissists that love Black men as a fetish that will lie and cry wolf and twist narratives and so-called evidence to be a victim and make $1. We didn't have our dads the way we wanted, so we persevered through the bull to be the best fathers we could. Today is the last day you do this. Oh my God. I gotta catch my breath. There's still more, you guys, but I have to catch my breath. So he says that Twitch would still be alive had he not been married to Allison. Allison only used him as a fetish. Oh my God, you guys. I am gasping for air. I am gasping for air. And it gets worse, okay? There's still more. Honestly, I wish you guys could feel my heart racing here because I didn't read the last half of this. Oh my God. There was so much coming in and I didn't want people to delete what they were saying. So I was like skimming to make sure it was about Allison and Twitch, screenshotting and going on to the next. So now I'm just like really, truly like sitting here, taking it in at the same time as you guys. Like, this is deep. Okay. So Twitch wanted to leave Allison. Now it makes sense, right? Why this woman who was widowed by her husband is not referring to him as her late husband, right? She's saying my ex-husband. And on top of that, remember, she went and she changed her last name on Instagram before his body was even cold, right? Like, it makes sense. This was not a happy, normal couple. in love the way she wanted it to be portrayed, right? Because initially when he passed, she said everything was great. He was always smiling, blah, blah, blah. Now come to find out from his own little brother, he wanted to leave you and that you would manipulate him into staying. How many of you guys have dealt that in a relationship where you want out of the relationship, you tell the person like you're done, and then the person just tries anything they can do to manipulate you into staying? You know, oh, I'll hurt myself if you leave me. I'll do this, I'll do that, all sorts of things, you know? So this is what tWitch was allegedly dealing with behind the scenes. And I feel so sad for his younger brother, you guys. By the way, hi, Autumn. Thank you so much for joining. I feel so sad for his younger brother because he is grappling with the guilt of trying to push his brother to work things out with Allison for the sake of the children. So imagine that. And this is a normal thing. It's not his younger brother's fault. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just giving advice to his brother, right? Because he knew how much his brother loved his kids. And perhaps that was one of the manipulations that he's alluding to, right? Maybe Allison threatened Twitch, like, hey, I'm going to see to it that you rarely see these kids or you never see these kids or something like that. Maybe that's what Twitch was telling his brother. Like, I want to leave her, but she's threatening me, you know, and the kids and this and that. And the brother said, listen, like, just try to work it out, you know, because he didn't know the extent to what was going on there. But imagine, right? You guys try to tell someone, hey, listen, try to work it out. Like, this person seems like a nice person. You guys have been together forever. Do it for the kids, blah, blah, blah. And then you just didn't know how bad it was. And then you find out the next thing you know, this person that you were just trying to give like honest advice to, they just they take their own life because they just couldn't do it anymore with this person. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, you guys. Wow. I've caught my breath again. Let's continue. Wow. We were both in the situation. Married to toxic narcissists that love Black men as a fetish, that will lie and cry wolf and twist narratives and so-called evidence to be a victim and make $1. We didn't have our dads the way we wanted, so we persevered through the bull to be the best fathers we could. Today is the last day you do this. I was contacted about a TV show last year, and after sending their condolences about me losing Steven, guess what the producer said about you? The same thing all of them say about you. You're a money-hungry, lying narcissist that will play victim and say and do anything for $1. Last question. And guys, brace yourselves for the last question, okay? Last question. Wasn't it your gun that was used? Eye emoji, middle finger emoji. Now, if you guys were keeping up with this story, you know, closely, then you'll know that that is a very, 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 very big allegation for Twitch's younger brother to be making. That the pew pew that he used to end it all was Allison's. Because guess what Allison told the police? She had told the police that it was not hers. She said, actually, she never even said anything about having any. When they were walking through the house to try to figure out what happened to Twitch, this was before they knew that, you know, he had ended it. They saw a safe and a box for, you know, this weapon, and that it was empty. And so they said, oh my God. And so she goes, oh yeah, he had bought one because there was an increase in robberies in the neighborhood. So now his brother is saying, girl, you lied to the cops. That was yours. Wow, you guys. How do you feel about that? Does that change anything for you? What motive would Allison, and I'm not saying she lied, I'm saying that the brother is seemingly accusing her of lying without full-blown saying it. But what motive would someone have for lying about who a gun belonged to? I'm gonna leave it to you guys in the comment section, okay, you guys, because I'm seeing you guys have a lot to say, okay? And hang on, let me see if there's anything else from the brother. That was, yeah, you guys, honestly, wow. I am still speechless, okay? Mind you, his brother is very successful in his own right. The initial narrative that was going on when his family would speak out, so his family, ever since his passing, they've been speaking out against Allison. And a lot of people have been claiming, oh, maybe it's because Twitch was the breadwinner for the family. Because, this happens sometimes. When someone makes it big in the family, the people around them in the family try to mooch off of them, right? But no, his brother was successful in his own right. He was working right alongside Twitch at the Ellen show. He was working with Disney, the NBA, all sorts of things. Okay, you guys. And so now you get some comments that came in from other people who are connected to Twitch. Nelson Diaz said, people aren't ready to hear the truth, or the reason we stopped working together was because I finally told her to F off with her narcissism a few days after getting them a 6-figure Cadillac deal and a free Escalade. So this person, I guess, was like an influencer manager for Twitch and Allison, who's now coming out against Allison, okay? And so apparently she was so greedy. He got them a 6-figure deal and a free Escalade, which is a beautiful car, and she still wasn't satisfied. I'm sure she told plenty of people I was evil or stole money or something, when she in fact was the one doing the shadiness. I don't care about my reputation in the dance world, as I was always the one to ruffle feathers, and I was good with it. I made people reach their potential, sadly, including her. And now you've got someone from the So You Think You Can Dance family named Joshua Allen, who's also gone on the record. Okay, you guys, his name was Joshua Allen. Let me know in the chat if you're watching live, or in the comment section if you are watching the replay, if you remember Joshua Allen from So You Think You Can Dance, okay? This is what he shared to his Instagram stories. You really tripped out with this one. I didn't sign an NDA. Tell the truth, Allison, or I will. And again, I think this might have to do with either the gun, the relationship not being as happy as she wants us to believe, or her own potential alleged rumored drug use. You guys, how scary is it that this woman was married to this man, and now we're finding out all of this like scary, stone cold stuff about her? Her people who worked with the both of them, people who were related to him, right? People who worked for her, her whole manager is saying that she is a narcissist and she's greedy. Like, these are some very, very scary allegations. I would hate for people to be able to say this sort of thing about me. And the fact that multiple people, not just Twitch's family, but people who know her from the dance world or from the professional world, the influencer world, are all saying this. And good question, Karma. I don't know, right? I really do not have the answer, you guys. You guys, I'm just, listen. And that's not even the last of it, right? There are other people from the So You Think You Can Dance. And I see some of you guys remember Joshua Allen as well. But there are other people from the So You Think You Can Dance family who are speaking out here. Okay, you guys, someone who goes by the name of Chelsea Hightower. Do you guys remember Chelsea Hightower as well? She was one of the first to actually full-blown speak out against Allison as well. Oh my goodness. Okay. So sorry, Angie, I'm going to pull down your comment so I can go ahead and read this. So she shared a screenshot from Courtney's comments about this. Okay. And she said, I've known Allison since I was an early teen, and seeing her choose to share such deeply personal details about Twitch's struggles feels so disappointing and inappropriate. Twitch was an incredibly kind and loving man who always looked out for others, making everyone feel included and valued, myself included. He deserves to be remembered for the light he brought into this world, not reduced to his struggles. Rest in actual peace, Twitch. You are missed and loved by so many. I'm sharing Carolyn Ann Platt's words because I feel they speak to the heart of this situation. Now, I don't know what is wrong with me, because I could have sworn I had screenshotted Courtney's statements about this, because those were some of the ones that like went mega viral as well. So I'm going to go here, pull up a picture of this People magazine thing that has everybody in an uproar, and I am going to read Courtney's post on the side. Okay, you guys. So this is what Courtney had to say. Courtney is another person who was dancing with them on Dancing with the Stars. She knew them both, and she too is coming out swinging against Allison. Courtney says, and I quote, Anyone who knows me knows I go straight to the source during a conflict and handle my business. But since there's clearly no shame in being so public, I haven't said a word in 2 years, but here I go. I was there the moment you both connected. I was there the day you got engaged. I stood by your side on your wedding day. I was in your home the day he died. I was by your side because your husband was my family. It didn't matter how often we spoke, how often we saw each other. We were bonded forever. This is by far the most tacky, classless, opportunistic act I have ever seen in my entire life. We all had to sign some weird NDA to attend his funeral, even his own mother, who you treated like garbage this entire time. And let's just remember, you wouldn't have even had a husband if it wasn't for her. Not to share anything or ruin his name as if that was on anyone's mind in the first place. And here you go and write a book with all the dirty laundry smearing his name, in attempting to dim the bright, loyal, loving light that was your husband, my friend. Whether any of it is true or not is actually beside the point. This is how you protect the boss name you so quickly dropped on your social media 48 hours after he passed. His legacy. This is how you protect his children from any further humiliation, hurt, and despair. This is what you want them to remember about him. You have moved on. You're living your life. You're on every carpet you can get on, every celebrity row you can sit in, every magazine you can be in, and you needed to do this? Get a journal, a therapist, a friend, but publishing a book, shamelessly sharing the pages of your husband's journal, People magazine, what a joke. Yes, he took his own life, which is a fact all of us still can't fathom, and he was clearly having mental health issues. Hurting so deeply, and this is your example of empathy, of your love. This smear campaign for a buck is absolutely not what he would have ever wanted, no matter how bad he was hurting. Not for a second. You're a living, breathing bulldozer. Stick to your own demons. Shame on you, Allison. Shame on your money-hungry team. Let my friend rest in peace, not your PR. Wow, you guys. Wow. What a scathing post from someone who knew the two of them from the very, very beginning. It really feels as though everybody, or most people who knew the two of them, are siding with Twitch against her actions. And listen, I don't blame them. And so now you've heard it from several different sources now, right? That she forced everyone in his family, including his own mother, to sign NDAs in exchange for being able to be at his funeral. I still can't get over that, you guys. I find that to be so sick and twisted. I really, really do. And there you go as well. The woman who was with them from the day they met, the day they got engaged, the day they got married, and the day he died. She was there for all of those milestones. And she has confirmed not only the NDA thing, but she's also confirmed or saying the same thing, which is that Allison went and immediately changed her name on Instagram after this man died. Within 48 hours, right? Lots and lots of craziness. So once again, that was that was Courtney Ann Platt, who was also a competitor on So You Think You Can Dance. And that's exactly true, creme brulee. We are going to go over that part as well, because again, why would she lie about that, right? So the brother is seemingly accusing her of lying about the gun being his own. Apparently it was hers, according to the brother. This is not verified. This is just what he's claiming. But now we're also finding out she's saying that he was a drug addict. She's saying that he was using every single day, multiple times a day. He would go off in the guest house to use. But the toxicology report, it said that there was nothing in his system. So what is with all of these conflicting stories, right? what is the point? What does she gain from this? I don't understand. I think I think that we really need to know at this point. And I need for her to come out and address this controversy head on. She's got like, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 people who are speaking out in support of her that she's reposted on her stories, but it's not much compared to all the people condemning her actions. So now let's get into another former So You Think You Can Dance competitor who has come out swinging against Allison. It is none other than Comfort Doke. Listen, I love Comfort Doke as well. I remember her on So You Think You Can Dance. She reposted Allison's People magazine cover saying, "Lies and fairy tales. Steven said this to me in my dreams when he passed. Nothing is what it seems. Courtney, I'm right behind you. I am done with this girl. You're an evil woman and completely disgusting. How dare you try to destroy my brother's name?" And so now we've got Allison's former manager. So now we've got several people who worked with them in So You Think You Can Dance. We've got their old influencer manager speaking out against her. And now we've got Allison's own former individual manager, you guys. It has been a time. I don't know how she slept last night. The way everyone was coming for her, I would not have been able to sleep. I would have been in fetal position, you guys. Okay? Fetal position if everybody was coming out with all of these stories against me. Okay, so let's see what it is that her former manager had to say on the gram. A shout out to Stop Culting for getting this screenshot. His profile is locked, so I was not able to get this for myself. I got it through Stop Culting's Instagram page. So his name is Nelson Diaz and Fit. "For over a decade, I put up with so much disrespect and just plain evil stuff from you because of him. I should have dropped you as a manager. I hate that I built you up and fought extremely hard for you to get jobs. Even hiring you as a judge on a show on Bravo, I helped build. Should have let them fire you when you showed your true colors on set and held us up because you could barely speak. Don't act holier than thou with the demons and skeletons you have. Your house is made of glass. I don't have to say a thing. Others are coming for you now. People know my addiction journey because it's part of my testimony. If you truly are healed, then share your true self and not monetize Steven." So this person, right, her former manager, we also got a former friend from So You Think You Can Dance, and we've got Steven's younger brother. That is 3 people now who are saying, "Allison, what are you talking about? Steven is a drug addict? Let's talk about you. Let's talk about the coke you're doing. Let's talk about the Molly you're popping. Let's talk about the ex. Mention it all." I can't validate this. I can't say what they're saying is true, but I'm just saying 3 separate people are all saying the same thing. She never said that she had her own issues or that she partook or anything like that. But when she was doing that People magazine interview, she said that her ex-husband, Steven, had a problem. She said that she had found shrooms, which, by the way, I have never heard of someone being a shroom addict. I don't think that that's an addiction, drug personally, but I digress. You guys can let me know if that's a different case. She says she found that. She found some pills. She didn't know what they were. And I believe she said that she found marijuana as well. Let me go ahead and pull up the notes that I had taken there, right? Yeah, marijuana as well, right? But people are saying that that is just not true, that she is lying and that she is deflecting, that maybe she partakes but doesn't have an addiction problem, and that's why she didn't choose to mention it for herself. I don't know. But they're saying she needs to stop acting like she doesn't know what these things are, because she is dibbling and dabbling in all sorts of these things, right? So honestly, you guys, I am just so taken aback by all of this. Okay, you guys. And now there's another person who has come forward named J. Chris Moore, whose testimony I am about to put up here on the screen for you guys. Okay. "Due to the recent selfish acts of a certain horrible piece of trash human being who only wants to use my best friend's memory to benefit herself and her stupid book she's selling, I think I want to go live and share some real, actual, heartfelt memories of Steven and open it to anyone who wants to hop in and share. We will not let the self-centered troglodyte control the narrative and try to do anything other than shine light and love on his memory. If you want to hop on the live, respond to the story, and I'll let you know when I'm going to go live. Let's remind the world how amazing he was and the impact he made on so many lives. Long live Stephen L. Boss. Listen, I'm happy that his best friend is trying to just change the narrative. He is he's condemning Allison's actions and just saying, listen, F what she's doing. Let's share some love. Let's share some positive things about him. And I find it crazy that it is his friend who has to do this, right? And not his wife. His wife should be sharing positive, leaving him to rest in dignity, right? And in peace, but she's doing the opposite. So, another thing that he had posted, once again, shout out to Stop Culting for this, because he had actually deleted this Instagram story after posting it. But he said, you the one that was doing them drugs. We know the real. Let's not forget what was up your nose. So now that is a fourth person who has come forward and said that Allison engages in recreational drug use. Isn't it interesting that she's talking about, I don't want people to be ashamed, if they have problems with this type of stuff, substance, if they're using substances, don't be ashamed. Let's talk about it. Let's use my husband as an example. He's dead, but let me prop him up as the mascot for this without his permission. Meanwhile, she's living and able to, consent to being used as like an example of that, but she's not telling her own testimony. That's interesting, right? And you know what? You were so right, Angie. That's one thing that just does not exit my mind here when people are talking about Twitch. Everybody is saying that he was just such an incredible person. Look at how hard they are fighting for him, right? Like, that just shows you that he was an amazing person who, I guess, unfortunately, just wound up with the wrong person, right? And based on what people are saying now about Allison and what she's like behind the scenes and how Twitch didn't want to be with her and stuff like that, maybe his brother is right. Maybe he would still be alive if he didn't get, mixed up with this woman. I believe it. What about you guys? And I hate to even say it because it's a very, very harsh thing to say, but just based off all these people, and I'm not even done reading all these people who know them, who have come forward, right? Just based off what everybody is saying, I believe them, that behind the scenes, she was a terror. And exactly, Luz, cocaine is much worse. It's much worse. So you're allegedly using this stuff, right? But you want to call him an addict and this and that because he was using marijuana, which is legal, by the way. It's as it's as irrelevant or whatever as alcohol. And shrooms is just, anyway, whatever. Let's get into some more of the things that people have been saying about her behind the scenes. Okay, you guys. And Desiree, listen, your intuition, looks like your intuition was 100% right. So this is someone called Joe the Gamer who had a lot to say about Allison. Listen, y'all, I don't think you're going to be able to read this little tiny this tiny text. Let me go ahead and read it to you, okay? Mental health is a personal journey. A family member would never find out after that there was all this alleged stuff. If there was, and she knew, she also wouldn't share it unless she wanted to be, quote, famous. The day before, she was dancing with him, celebrating. He went missing and left the house, and she didn't look for him for a day. If anyone needs to seek mental health treatment, it's a woman who's addicted to looking right or getting plastic surgery, not an authentic dancer who lived a beautiful life and brightened the world. So again, it is weird that this man goes missing and his wife is not interested in looking for him for a full 24 hours. In this interview, she says she had no idea that this man had issues with drug use or anything like that. But then at the same time, when he went missing, before she knew he was dead, she was allegedly calling rehabs and telling the cops that she thought he was in rehab. So what's the true story? So yeah, I'm not surprised that the friends are calling her out, right? And speaking of the plastic surgery, I will tell you guys this one thing. Let me see if I could pull up the photo. When I was making thumbnails for this, I was looking for a photo of Allison. Okay, I said, listen, obviously, whenever you make thumbnails, you need photos of these people. Let me take a screenshot because it's a format that doesn't work here. You need screenshots of these people, and then you go ahead and you turn them into like thumbnails, right? And so I was doing that with her. And the first photo I pulled, I thought it was such a beautiful photo. But then I look at it, I said, wait a minute, is this her? Because this does not look like her at all. So if you look up Allison Holker on Google Images, you'll see that this allegation is true, that she is into the plastic surgery, which there's nothing wrong with it. Listen, I got my nose done too, but they're saying that this is what she's like really preoccupied with: looking perfect, being perfect, searching the spotlight amidst Twitch's passing. I saw one of you guys post something a little bit earlier, but I lost the message. There's so many messages coming in. One of you guys posted earlier about how she had taken over Twitch's job as a judge on So You Think You Can Dance or something like that, like immediately after his passing. And that felt really like icky to you guys. It's kind of like, okay, well, he's dead. Let me go ahead and take his job, sort of a thing, which I think I vaguely remember hearing about that. And I do find that to be rather odd as well. So there's just so many things that now in hindsight, which is similar to what she's saying, right? She was saying she had no idea this man was an addict, but in hindsight, she is saying that like there were kind of clues that was the case. And so now maybe these are like some kind of clues that like that there's something off with this woman in hindsight as well, right? So while I wait for that photo to load, let me continue to read what it is that this friend had to say about her. Okay, you guys, so let me pull it back up in case y'all have your binoculars on you so you can read it alongside me. Leave his legacy alone. This should be illegal. The poor kids she claims she protected. She already did it to one kid, now 2 more. And what he's talking about there when he says that she did it to one kid, she's talking about traumatizing Wesley. So in the book, Allison mentions what Twitch's last words were to her daughter, Wesley, right? AKA his stepdaughter. And a lot of people are disgusted by that too, right? Because she's already got the last words ringing in her head constantly that she had with her father figure. And the mom chooses to take that intimate information, which is not typically released, right? She takes that intimate information and she publishes that in her book. So for those of you who are wondering what his final words were to Wesley, they were, "I wish I could be your Superman," which is a very, very, very sad note to leave off on. And it showed that like he truly was struggling at this time. And, it just sucks. She was the last person to see him alive and everything like that too. So it just feels extra icky to go ahead and put this information out there about her. But listen, this is her kid. This is how she's choosing to handle her kid at the end of the day, right? He also continued to say, mental health matters. Stop bullying and slandering. Let people rest in peace. Let his kids know the real him. The people who need mental health treatment is her, obviously, and her children. Stop partying, be authentic, and lay low. There was another thing that people were saying. I need some of you sleuths to find this out. Let me know if you want another video on this. I'll have to go take a look at the timeline on her. But apparently, within months of his passing, she was also in Monaco. This guy, I forget his name. It was a soccer player. It was this black soccer player. I forget his name. Or maybe it was a football player. You know that black Republican guy, Emmanuel Acho? He dated Yvonne Orji from Insecure. That guy. She was holding hands with him in Monaco very quickly, months after Twitch's passing. And so that's another thing that people find to be very odd about her. So basically all the things people are finding odd, apparently she uses a lot of, coke, and she doesn't want to talk about it, but she wants to talk about Steven and his marijuana as if he was a hardcore user. Apparently, according to the brother, the gun was hers, but she told the cops it was Steven's. People are also finding it odd that she didn't even go looking for him for about 24 hours. A lot of very strange things. She's referring to him as her ex-husband, not her late husband. A lot of things. So now this is the picture I'm referring to. So this is a picture of her, guys. I didn't even recognize her in this picture. I said, who is this? I don't know if it's a darker hair or what. But it very quickly clicked to me that she had gotten some work done on her nose. As you can see here, it's a lot more pinched than before, which nothing wrong with it. But this is something that his friend is referring to in his rantings and ravings about her wanting to be so Hollywood. You know who she looks like to me now? the lady judge from So You Think You Can Dance. You know, there's Nigel Lithgow, and then there's that lady. I don't know her name, but she looks like her to me in this image now, with what she looks like these days. You guys, the story is sad. It really, really is. I want to applaud Twitch's loved ones for coming forward and sharing their story and their testimony. It feels like they've been threatened for a very long time with the children, and I hate that for them. I know that the mom has been speaking for a very long time about how the children have been kept from her and everything like that, and we haven't seen her come out yet and speak about this in particular. Maybe there was something happening behind the scenes to where she was threatened into silence again or something like that. I don't know, but very, very, very sad stuff, you guys. So I'm just going back and reading some of you guys' comments that you left here. Allison is a weirdo. I have a feeling that they were separated or something, and that caused him. Well, listen, that's what his brother is saying. He didn't want to be with her. He didn't want to be with her, apparently. And she was just kicking and screaming. And this is how that ended. Found it interesting. She said her new relationship allows her to be feminine. Oop. I wonder what that means. Makes me wonder stuff behind closed doors, right? Hate the way he treated his mother. Allie, I'm so sorry for your loss about your ex-boyfriend killed in a car accident, and I still call him my boyfriend or late boyfriend, right? It just feels softer. It feels like there's still love there. But when you call this person, especially so soon after their death, just your ex-husband, it's weird. Something is off. And I'm so sorry for your loss as well, Alexa. And yes, speaking of that, Nessa, another thing that was very strange is that her first reaction to all of this was to go on Instagram within hours of his passing and change her last name from Boss to Holker. Great question, Ramster. Why aren't they doing it? You know, they're just letting her spout off at the mouth. Now, let's get into the autopsy stuff, okay, you guys, because I did some digging. I said, you know, it's weird that she's saying that this guy, and first of all, we're going to talk about how often she claims that he used, and then we'll get into the autopsy reports of his passing, because I went back and looked them up, okay, you guys. She says it was hard to put the pieces together through certain discussions, even with friends and things that had been said. Reading through his journals, you realize he went through a lot as a child and never faced it. It's hard to think that he never opened up to someone and wanted to face it to get through on the other side. I really hope people dealing with the same thing will help themselves out of the shadows and know you're going to be okay. Again, who are you? What gives you the right to put that information? If you told not a single soul, why would you go and sell this information to multiple people? Why are you not having private, you know, group meetings with people, you know, as some sort of advocate at schools or at something like that, where these things are kind of just confined to the school gymnasiums and they help the young people or something like that? Why is this in People magazine? Why is it in your book, right? So she talks about in his final moments, Twitch was acting withdrawn, showering less frequently, and smoking morning, noon, and night. She says that he did tell her that he was going through a low period, but he was very careful about his wording, so she didn't understand the extent to it. And then now, you know, here's the thing. She's saying that he was smoking morning, noon, and night, and he would go. So they had the main house, and then they had like a pool house, a guest house. She said that that's where he would go to retreat every single day. But here's the gag. The autopsy report came out, you guys, after Twitch's passing. And the autopsy said that there were no drugs or alcohol found in Twitch's system at the time of his death. So you mean to tell me he was hardcore using to the point where you thought he went to a rehab, but there's nothing in his body? So when I went and I looked, I said, how long does, you know, do drugs and alcohol stay in your system? This is what I found. In an autopsy, the detection of marijuana or its metabolites depend on the tissues being analyzed and the time since death. Unlike toxicology tests performed on living individuals, autopsy toxicology focuses on post-mortem specimens, including blood, urine, liver, kidney, and sometimes brain tissue. In summary, marijuana and its metabolites can often still be detected in an autopsy toxicology report, especially in fatty tissues or organs weeks after use. The specific timeline depends on the individual's usage and postmortem conditions, but is typically in the DNA. So guys, it can last anywhere from days to weeks. And if this person was using more than the average person to the point where his wife is out here branding him an addict, why is it that it didn't show up? Allison, girl, what are you doing? What is this? What is this? I find that to be so strange. But listen, I think she's gotten the message loud and clear that people are very, very, very disturbed by her actions and by all the information that she is revealing about him. And I imagine that she's going to come back with a message about all of this. You know, she's going to come back and try to defend herself. Okay. So I'm going to try and take a listen and see what it is that she has to say to defend herself in the midst of all of this. Right. Spirit Sweet Pea says, you are trying to get everyone to hate her because he took his life. Shame on you. Not at all. In fact, people already do not like her for the information that she put out there. All of these screenshots I grabbed are not as a result of me reporting on the screenshots. These preclude me, his family, his friends, her former manager, their former couples manager, her former colleagues, dancers she worked with, her own ex-friends, people who have known her since childhood, have all come out and said the same things about her. They have said that she is greedy. They have said that she is narcissistic. They have said that she is wrong to put this information out about her dead husband. I just, you know, and to me, I don't think that anybody needs convincing to find it disgusting that a wife would go and put this information out about her dead husband. She said that he never told a single soul, not even her, about his alleged childhood sexual abuse. So on what planet is it acceptable for her to take it upon herself to put that information in a book and get paid for it? On what planet is it acceptable for her to put that in a magazine? You know, to be chilling here, you know, doing a photo shoot for People magazine, talking about, yeah, my husband had actual childhood abuse. Get my good side, get my good side. That's not normal. And people are rightfully calling it out, you know. But again, she is going to speak out and share her own defense based off of all the backlash, because it is such a large amount of backlash that it cannot be ignored. Right? Especially when you were peddling a book and you are trying to claim that you were trying to help other people. I think she's going to have to come out and talk about this on her own and defend what it is that she has chosen to do. And I have said in this video, in her defense as well, that I understand her being angry. And I would have loved for her to just say that she's angry and this is her way of just sharing all the anger that she has with him. You know, maybe say, I'm angry that you felt you couldn't come to me with this. I'm angry that you left me with this financial burden. I'm angry that you left our children traumatized and fatherless, because guess what? She has every right to be angry. She does, right? Anyway, yeah, you guys, honestly, this has been just so sad to see and to hear. And I'm happy that Twitch was so loved that he has all of these people standing up and trying their best to fight to honor his name, you guys. Lots and lots and lots to think about, lots and lots and lots to talk about, because this is not the end, you guys. They are going to continue to speak out, and I'm going to continue to keep an eye on what it is that they have to say. Okay, you guys, there's an awful lot. And listen, I don't like to end the morning report on heavy topics. So by the way, thank you all so much for being here. If you're new, just watching for the first time, I run the morning report every single weekday. That is Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the day's hottest stories. So I actually did accidentally skip over the Kim Kardashian story, Kim Kardashian and JLo. Okay, you guys, let's get back into that because we got to lighten the mood. I don't want to leave you guys in such a dark and heavy mood. Okay. So there's a story going out, you guys, that Kim Kardashian is stepping up as JLo's matchmaker, okay, amidst Jennifer Lopez's divorce from Ben Affleck that was just finalized. This sounds like the blind leading the blind, because one thing about Kim and JLo is that they both know how to get a man, but they also both know how to bounce and just not have these relationships work out. So I don't think that JLo, who's been engaged like 5, 6, 7 times and married several times, should be depending on Kim, who's been engaged, 4 or 5 times and married 3 times and divorced 3 times for love advice or anything like that. Good luck to the two of them in that. I'm happy that they both have each other to go through this whole divorce and just, kind of never really getting the whole romance thing right. But I just do not see Kim being a productive help to JLo when it comes to looking for a man. Okay, you guys, good luck to her on that. The source is saying, and I quote, Kim has been a huge source of support for JLo ever since she split from Ben Affleck. She's really stepped up to the plate and been not only a shoulder to cry on, but also a bona fide cheerleader and a stylist too. So apparently she's been helping and encouraging JLo to embrace a sexier look, which again, I don't really think that JLo needs help with. One thing about JLo is she is always going to keep it hot. Okay, you guys. And last but not least, there was a story that I wanted to share with you guys that I found to be really beautiful and heartwarming. So for those of you who might not know, Ghana actually has this program. It's the right to return, or beyond the return now, since it piloted in 2019, but it's still going strong here in 2024. And a couple of African-American celebrities took advantage of the opportunity to go ahead and obtain Ghanaian citizenship, which I'm just so happy to see. There's Dr. Umar, Yandi and Mendices, who went, and there was another celebrity as well whose name escapes me at the moment, who went ahead and claimed their Ghanaian citizenship. And I just want to say, listen, I think that this is an awesome initiative that Ghana put in place. And I hope that more people go ahead and take advantage of it, because listen, there's no harm in having multiple passports, right? Multiple citizenships, especially with the way the world is going right now. We are always under the threat of some sort of war. And for those of you in the US, let's talk about how your president seems to be trying to wage war with my country, Canada, right? Donald Trump keeps on seemingly launching veiled threats about invading Canada and trying to have us as a 51st state, right? I know that our Green Party leader, Elizabeth May, kind of clapped back and said, what about if we colonize you guys? What if we take over California? What if we take over Oregon? What if we take over DC? But all jokes aside, this seems to be a very serious threat of safety, right, for Canadians and for Americans alike. Because listen, Canada will not take that lying down, and violence would be involved on both sides. So why not take the opportunity if it is offered to you? And so this is something that Ghana is offering to people of African descent, or particularly Ghanaian descent, which a lot of African Americans have Ghanaian or Nigerian heritage, which means that this would be something that you guys can have in your back pocket if ever things were to go down in that direction. Don't forget, you guys are at war with Russia, and just there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, you guys. So listen, if this is something that interests you, having a second passport, take a look at this program and see if you might be eligible for it. Okay, you guys. Let me go and see what some of you guys have to say about. I see a lot of comments. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you. I see you guys' comments. I want to see what you guys were saying about Kim K and JLo. Shunjen, I was wondering where you were at. Got here late, but I'll be part of the playback crew. Thank you so much. Ali agrees, it's the blind leading the blind. Exactly. And it's just so sad. These women are so beautiful, so successful. And no one really, when Kim anyway, no one ever has a mean word to say about Kim. They say she's one of the nicest people. JLo, not so much. But in Kim's case, she seems to be a really nice girl, but like she just can't get it right, and neither can JLo. I've always wondered, why do some people get it right like on the first try or the second and third? And I'm not talking about marriage, but relationships. Some people, they meet one person and that's their person, and they're together for life and happy, right? Or maybe the second or third. But then there's people who have to go and date a million different people and it still just doesn't work. And they have to like date, marry a million different people and it still doesn't work. What happens? Like, what's the difference there? And listen, Theo, it sounds like it might be, right? The Kardashians are not really getting that much play in the press these days. And so they got to do whatever they can to fuse themselves and inject information about themselves and tie themselves to other celebrities who are getting that attention. Ramser says, why are these serial brides and fiancés so gung-ho to jump back into the dating scene instead of taking a pause for the cause? Well, listen, this might be the reason why they're having those issues, right? Which is that they lack self-reflection. They won't change what it is that they're doing and adjust in order to go forward in a more productive direction, right? The next time around. And I love this comment. Listen, it just might be an Olympic sport, the way these girls are going at it. And it looks like they are about to take gold. Guys, this was our longest morning report yet. And I had a great time dishing on everything with you guys. I'm really grateful that you guys took the time to listen to this situation in its entirety. You know, I know we spent the majority of our time talking about tWitch and his wife, Allison, and everything going on there. But I do think it was a very, very important story, and that his family and friends and his colleagues and, you know, her former family, friends, and colleagues all deserve to have their voices heard when it comes to this situation, you guys. And this isn't the end of it. We're going to continue to hear more. So if you haven't already, please do make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I will continue to make videos as this story evolves, okay? Theo says, finding love is a unique experience for everyone. So difficult to say what works for a long-lasting relationship. Exactly. And that's what's just so like, oh, frustrating about it, right? There's no recipe. There's no rule book to it. Some people just luck out and some people don't. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's morning report. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. So please make sure to hit the bell. The live is already pre-programmed on my page for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, because the morning report is every single weekday at 10 a.m. EST. Make sure to hit the bell so you're notified when I go to live tomorrow, and I will see you then. Take care, you guys. Bye.